Ladies and gentlemen, probably a terrible camera placement, but we're gonna roll with it. So I've been just under shower, as you can see, and I had an idea because I'm working on a song and there's this one sound that has sub bass, but I want it to be matching perfectly. And so there needs to be an idea, there needs to be a way to figure out how to connect it perfectly to the sound so that it follows. If I were to just add a sub bass in like Serum and just layer it, it would be hard because the volume or the waveform of the sound changes constantly, so it's hard to, put MIDI notes there so that it fits perfectly. That shape is different each time. So and shaping the ADSR of a sub bass and synthesizer doesn't really work well, so there has to be a perfect solution to get a sub underneath any sound to be layered perfectly. And I have an idea. It popped up under the shower. We're gonna check it out. If you're watching this, it means it works, so I'll show you what to do. So we need a few things. First of all, we need a sound. I'm gonna pick right here from the place that you cannot see. I'll just take a laser. Why not? That's what it sounds like. Just to make sure, just go here. Delete the lows. This is what we're ending up with. So now what we need is a sub bass, and you can just go to Serum simply. Dun. It's gotta be D sharp, that's what fits the most, this sound. I'm gonna pitch it down. And as you can hear, it just doesn't match the shape of this laser. We want it to be perfect. And we want something easy, we want something that we'll be able to drag and drop into any project and just apply quickly to have a bass following the shape of any sound and just sitting there perfectly. So all you gotta do in Serum, just go to default basic shapes and choose sine wave. Go put random down because every single time it will choose a different phase. It's gonna sound different every single time. You want it to be every single time the same. And then either now you can keep it just as a sine wave, just as this deep bass note, just single sine wave. You can start adding some extra harmonics, and you gotta be careful with harmonics. Sometimes deep singular sine wave sub bass is what is enough, like now, and if you add harmonics, it may actually sound worse. It may actually not fit because you're adding some more mid tones and they not always fit, especially if you add harmonics that are outside of the scale. It's gonna sound funky. There's a few things you can do. You can go into another oscillator, pitch it up an octave, also make it basic shapes, make it a sine wave. And if you go into EQ, you can adjust the volume. Now you get this harmonic here. And just make it like this so that's a little beefier. Not like this, that's too much. Go like this. Or you can go into distortion and you can just use some type of distortion. See, it adds more. It does this. It may be what you're looking for a song, may fit. But as you can hear, it adds these ones too. Like, what scale is that? It's just completely all over the place. Got some C here, some F sharp, some A sharp. That's not really in the scale. You can use a different saturation mode, like soft clip, which sounds differently. Totally use it. And once you add these harmonics, maybe again that's what you're looking for, put a filter, put a low cut, just very like this, and just those ones are very bright. You can just mute them and just leave those. And then also you can go into EQ if you can accentuate them, so you get something like this. Totally possible. I'm not saying no. Can you stop farting, dude? Stop farting. Doesn't listen. Okay, another thing you can go into editing of the waveform and you can add some harmonics here. So once you do so, the waveform is going to change and you will see that right here we just added basically the same thing that we just did with the another oscillator. Just added an octave here, and here is +2, +3 octaves, and here's some extra additional harmonics. I don't know what is this exactly. 7th or 5th. I can't tell you because I literally don't know, so I'm not gonna tell you. But if that plane didn't fly here, I would be able to hear it better. But you can add like a little beefiness with this one, and a little beefiness with this one. It's in the scale. It's harmonizing very well. If you're feeling really funky, you can add some distortion. But I'm not really feeling funky today, so I'm not gonna add any distortion. That's what we're having. I'm gonna actually just make it like that. We need to somehow take the shape of this guy and apply it to this sound. Here's what I was thinking. We gotta put an EQ onto the sound, and actually that can work. We gotta group this and we gotta add a new chain. So on that chain, we're gonna take an EQ, and this is gonna be used for picking a certain frequency of the sound to use as the transference of the shape to the sub bass. And right here, we're gonna make that quiet because we don't want it to be duplicated. We don't want to be playing on the same time, so just gotta make it quiet. But before we make it quiet right here, we're gonna put an audio effect named envelope follower right here. And now we still get just a single instance of the original sound. With the EQ, without the EQ, doesn't matter. But now we also get this envelope following, as you can see. And now what we gotta do is we gotta put a utility on this guy, and we gotta map the shape of this sound onto the gain. Before you play anything, this may destroy your hearing. Go here and set it to 50. So it's gonna go from 0 to 50%, which it doesn't go right now because it doesn't have much thing. You gotta boost that, and now it's getting almost there. Yeah, go like that. This is gonna squash, I guess. So that's what we're getting. Make a long note here so that it's playing, and the only thing that changes is this. And so we can go, I don't know if it's not too early for that, but let's duplicate it. Hell yeah. And now you can control the shape of this. As you can see, this is a little longer than the initial hit. If we go into resampling mode and we solo this guy and we do this, you can see that it kind of like loses volume here, even though there's still volume here, like so. That's why we can control the volume in a few different ways. One of the ways is to adjust the fall of this, make it longer, like this, which I think is gonna sound pretty good right here, but we gotta test it in context with the original sound. I would say that sounds nice. And then use gain to control the volume of this guy. If you go high, it's gonna squash it, which I think it's actually a good idea. If we go low, there are these spikes, which may be not exactly what we're looking for. So we may introduce some of the limiting to the volume, which will result in the volume being more steady, like more squashed, like this. You can see it's just like stopping here, which I think it's a good idea because it's more controlled and it's gonna sound better. Not when it's like kind of all over the place, like weird like this. The sub bass looks sexy when it's squashed like this. So now we have this EQ8 going on here. I'm gonna make the gain a little lower. This is not playing at all, right? Because we have the utility at the end. This is just for using this to transfer the shape of the sound onto another sound. So, but now we have the EQ8 and we can create like a bandpass filter with those two different guys. And we can, let's say, highlight a part of the sound. As you can see, the shape changes, right? So to adjust the shape of the bass to the sound, you may want to have some control over the shape of the sound that you're controlling the shape of with the shape of the sound that has no bass on it. So that's now maybe pretty good. Let me cook. We get this versus this. It's different. It's kind of cool. It may actually fit better. So as you can see, if I'm boosting the volume right here, you can actually do this here as well. If I'm boosting the volume right here, the shape changes because it's like it's just following the volume. That sounds like it's just coming, like it's just exists for that sound. I would say boost that a little bit. So now we can check without the sub bass. With. So I would say that's basically it. You can put any effect right here before the envelope follower, but just think about how that works is when you do this, what's going to happen is that you will only change the shape of the sound. So it may fit better the sound if you add certain effects. You will have to experiment with it. We're still processing the initial sound here. This is what's being used for envelope following. But yeah, you can put any effect and change the shape of this guy to potentially make it fit better. It's all about making it fit perfectly. Adding this makes it more staccato. that's basically it. If we were to use this for sound, I would just save this as a rack without this EQ. Although actually no, with the EQ, because you actually need this because you're adding separate sub. So you would need to have this type of thing, and then you would need to have a sub bass. So if I were to save this, I would just go put it onto a different track, name it as sub, name it as sound. We've got a sound and we got a sub. This is an audio track. You can put it on the MIDI track, go into the effects folder and just drag these things. It's gonna go save both. Gotta drag it right here, and then we've got the sub right here. Why it's not working? What the hell? Okay, that's fine though. You can just add it. So it's quiet, and then if we add any sound, like this one. Without, with. Hell yeah, it fucking works, bro. Genius. Shower ideas. Bruh. It's perfect, but there's one issue here. First of all, we gotta go here, put it to mono. It's still clicking, right? What's clicking, my G? What's clicking? We gotta adjust the clicking. How can we adjust the clicking? By going here, we would need to adjust the shape to every single sound. It's targeting this, so if the sound doesn't have these frequencies, it's gonna not work. But the reason we're doing this particular EQ is because the shape of the sound is going to be different on different parts of it in the frequency spectrum. So look, if we go into just no EQ, this is what the waveform is. Very squashed, no dynamics. So if we go and solo with the EQ, a specific part of that sound, what we're getting is that staccato movement that we really need for this sound, because it's not really... This sound has some sustained elements, but really what we need is like this, you know, these shots. So that's why we're doing this. Targeting to shape it perfectly. And so... Can you stop farting, bro? Stop farting. I'm gonna lose my mind. Today, the internet is so slow. It's not doing anything. It just sits there and farts. And I'm like, bro, I need internet because I'm making a video right now. I need to be able to upload it. What the hell? So I don't even know if it's clicking or if it's just farting. Yeah, it is clicking. So we can try introducing some rise. So fade the beginnings, basically. Genius. What's causing the clicking is this sharp volume bumps. It's perfect. Yeah. Oh, perfect. This is perfect, bro. Oh, also, if you're looking to get this, I'm just gonna put a link in the description with the sub and with the follower, and you watch the video, you will know what to do. And if you're feeling extra spicy again, you can put Hass effect on the sub. You can do it. And make it super wide. Why not? It sounds better, because this original sound has that width here that the sub just doesn't have. So you put Hass effect on it, even though it's illegal. Is it really illegal? If it sounds good, is it really that illegal? Well, probably it is, because in mono it just gets messed up completely. But you can, I guess, put some reverb, very short reverb, to make it just wider. Sounds good. Yeah, we are putting reverb on the sub bass. Why? Because it sounds wider and it is more powerful. Who cares? It sounds better. What are you gonna do about it? It just sounds better, bro. Don't listen to any rules if it sounds better. I used to make sub in mono, and I used to think that that's a good thing. But once I started to pay more attention to the sound itself, I realized that the sub that's wide is actually not as bad as you think it may be, or not as evil as they say it is. It actually sounds better in some cases. In some cases, if you have a bass that's wide and if you make it mono, it's gonna sound worse. And if you have it mono and you make it wide, it's gonna sound better, and the opposite. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Hope this is helpful. Check the description for the preset for this. Have a great day. See you soon. This video has been brought to you by Oversampled.us, premium sample and preset packs. Sound selection is very important, and we always aim at creating the highest quality sounds possible to help you make professional songs in as easy as drag and drop way with no extra processing needed. We're offering sounds in many different genres. Our most loved packs are the Ultimate Future Bass Toolkit, Cyberpack, Polychrome, and Super Heavy Drums. If you want to sound like your favorite artists, we have packs like Volcano, Castles, Portify, and Resurrection. And if you're in need of quality drums for your songs, don't look any further than than our super heavy collection with over 2,800 samples in total if purchased in a bundle that will cover all your drum needs. Our most recent pack is sound enhancers, including lots of ear candies, fillers, layers, and more, all to make your songs more interesting. Visit oversampled.us and get sounds that'll make you a better producer.